Get my water.
Hello and welcome to Global Talk Show by Business Power Academy, Netherlands. And today in this beautiful journey, we have an amazing, gorgeous guest from United States, none other than Rita Wirtz. Welcome, Rita, to our show today, and it's a great honor for me to host you today.
What do I say? Thank you for inviting me. I also want to thank Matt Allen for making introductions. He's connected many, many people, and I'm very grateful. I want to point out, I'm sorry about the Zoom link this morning. Tech happens. So I am on my phone. So you guys are seeing me in a little box, but I'm here.
Great one, Rita. And before I take this journey on with my beautiful audience, global educators and leaders, let me apprise of great, gorgeous Rita. She is an inspirational leader, you can say, and learning and development specialist,
Right.
Innovative content creation, social media influencer, author, blogger, keynote speaker. And the most important thing is she is a beautiful human being, and she's too humble. She's too friendly. That is the beauty of Rita Wirtz. And without taking any pause, let's start this beautiful journey. So Rita, everyone is so excited to know about your inspirational journey. So kindly enlighten your great inspiring journey with everyone today.
Well, I don't know how inspiring it is, but I hope I will inspire everyone as you all inspire me. I wanted to be a teacher since I was about 6 years old. I was dragging the neighborhood kids in and playing school. But when I really knew I wanted to be a teacher was when I was 13 years old. And I went with my mother to adult ed, and we were tutoring non-readers. And that really got to me. That was it. I knew I wanted to do that. I knew I wanted to be a teacher, and I knew I wanted to teach reading. And so to that end, several degrees later and a lot of experience teaching reading. Along the way, I was a school principal, curriculum coordinator, program evaluator, yada, yada, yada. It's not what I've done, but it's who I've met and where I've been and the joy in my life that has come from not only teaching children, but teaching adults, and not just teaching them, but teaching with them from the time I was a principal. And then when I went on the road to do seminars, keynotes, and I went back in the classrooms with teachers to teach their children to see how it would go. So it's been very, very exciting and very inspiring all the way. The people that I've met, the things that I've gotten to do, it does keep me humble because there's always a tech issue like this morning. There's always something that I don't know or something goes wrong. And it's about on our journey to take a pause then, to refresh ourselves, decide what we can do to move forward. My journey has been not without pitfalls and falling into holes. And I don't know anybody that's had a life that was completely perfect. So I'd have to say mine was pretty close in terms of what I've done with kids and teachers. So for that, my inspirational journey is not over. I may be in the middle of it. At least I think I have a long way to go yet. So that's my first response.
Awesome, Rita. And
Yes.
I must say that education has enlightened everybody's journey.
Yeah.
Whether
Yes.
it's you, me, or a global educators, leaders, or anyone. And the way you narrated to us your great inspiring journey is really, really lovely, Rita. And especially the most important thing I loved about you is your positivity. And of course, the way you speak, the way you tell, the way you narrate. So that's add beauty to your inspiring journey. And it's really awesome. And it's really wonderful. You are a wonderful person, Rita, no doubt in that, right?
I'm going to have to get some Kleenex after all this. Gonna make me cry. It's always been about the children and being a servant leader. And I'm not the only one. There's a whole bunch of people right now watching and listening. And for that, I'm grateful. And I hope to be validating everybody for what you're doing for children. Any age and stage, they're all wonderful. They're all great learners.
Exactly, Rita. I do agree with you. Well, moving to this lovely course of global talk show. And my question, Rita, one question
Right.
is boggling in my mind, Rita, where you are today. You are surely at a greater height of success. And I'm sure reaching to this, you would have faced a lot of challenges, a lot of ups and
Yeah.
downs. So
Right.
kindly enlighten those ups and downs and challenges. And how did you overcome those challenges? So that will be adding beauty to this question. Yes.
Well, there are always challenges. The biggest challenge in my life probably was losing my husband. He was sick for 6 years, and I took care of him. During that time, though, I was still at it. I was still doing keynotes, writing one of my books, and teaching children at our historic home and property. That was probably the biggest challenge in my life, was that period, and then moving from California to Oregon. As far as my professional challenges, they've also been there. I've had so many experiences in my life where things just didn't go exactly how I thought they should go, or what I saw should happen. And so, how do you get around that? You get around that. I have found that I don't give up. If there's something that I need to do and some child I need to help, I'm going to find a way to do it. I'm terribly troubled by words such as learning loss and struggling readers and failure and teaching kids how to fail. When we look at the challenges, one of the challenges that we have is to change our thinking right away, that all children are at promise readers. They're all scholars in waiting, and they are waiting for us to light that fire, to ignite in them the burning passion that we feel about learning and reading. Another challenge right now is the reading war that has kicked up again, and we need to call a truce to this. It is not about science of reading versus balanced literacy. We know that in teaching reading, there are lots of pieces to this pie. Nobody's wrong, everybody's right, but we have to figure a way to get through that challenge, because when public schools are in jeopardy and people are watching us, we don't want to be having infighting. And that's a huge challenge at this stage of my life, what to do and how to help bridge the gap so we find common ground.
Wow,
So
Rita.
one personal, one professional. How's that? One and one.
I will say only one thing. The way you had carried your challenges, just like taking and finding golden opportunity hidden behind every great challenge.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
yes,
Absolutely.
Rita, I must salute your current strength, vigor, and most important, the way to handle your problems, not as your problems, but as a part of your life, as a challenge. And
Right, right, right.
I
Mhm.
love that you had never ever given up on your dreams.
Nope. No.
You just moved
I
forward.
still have that really big dream, which comes into what you're about to ask me now about my work, because we have a lot of work to do.
Exactly. And I think today you are giving a lot of inspiration to all the female leaders who are watching this show live or who are going to watch this video later on. So hats off
Yes.
to you, Rita, for your inspiring journey. And really, you touched millions of lives today. Awesome work. Well, when I move forward, Rita, I found
Right.
as an inspirational leader and your great work. You are being awarded with so many great accolades. So kindly enlighten your great journey of work, what you do exactly, and how people can be leveraged from your great work.
Well, right now, the work that I have been doing is in particular back to reading. It's not about the test scores that came out. That's nothing different than what I really expected. It's about what we do next. And one of my really big concerns right now that I'm hitting hard in my work is about reading for fun, because the research that has said that our children, they don't want to read a book anymore. And by age 13, there's only 13% of children that are wanting to read for fun. So one of the things that I've been doing beside some speaking and of course the blogging, the writing that I do, and the webinars, etc., is I have been encouraging everyone to reframe our thinking that these are all great learners waiting for us. There is not a struggle, but these are scholars in waiting. And we need to get these at-promise readers the skills that they need and the practice. And more than that, we need to be modeling the joy and the love of reading so that they want to read. So if we read for two reasons, one for meaning and one for pleasure, we're finding that people are not reading as much for pleasure. And so what's the point of testing kids about word calling, etc.? I'm not putting down the need for assessments, no. But what I'm saying is that we're bigger than that, and we need to make sure that the kids are having reading modeled to them. And we do family time reading, and we do a lot of oral reading with kids. So they hear us reading, they see us reading, they watch our eyes. But we need to be powerful models right now for wanting to read and wanting kids to see how much we want to read and the pleasure that we get. So that's one of the challenges that I'm doing in my work. Right now, I'm scheduling keynotes and literacy webinars to get us in the idea that through movement, through play, through humor, through jokes, using graphic novels, whatever we need to do to get the kids reading. They're scrolling and they're on TikTok. There's no doubt about the reading on social media, but there's a whole world out there that we want to make sure that they can access. And I'm concerned that our kids, many of them can't tell time. They can't write in cursive. Some of them aren't writing at all. And more than that, we have children that we don't know where they are. They're not in school. And if they are in school, then they, in many cases, are acting out their trauma and they're disengaged. So my work right now, in particular, is to boost teachers that we need you to stay strong, and that there are ready to go mini lessons that I offer that will make a huge difference. It's kind of like the dessert after the main course. Teachers have been learning skills through science of reading, following more brain research than ever. But is it translating to everyday life and the desire and the wanting to read? I believe that all children should be capable, confident readers who love to read. And this just isn't the United States. I've done a lot of international work now. This is all across the world. We have children that are waiting for us to pique their interest. And when I talk about work, then of course mission and vision do follow. And what I'm looking at is that it can't be my vision or my mission. But if I was looking at where I'm coming from, it is to do that, is to ensure that all children have access to education. And in particular, girls. We know that girls are really hurting right now. And not that boys don't have trauma, but the most recent study from the CDC told us that there is an enormous jump in children being depressed, disengaged, and just not performing because of the traumas that they have been suffering through the last few years. So this is really huge to me, that we really honestly look at what else can we do to make a difference in the children's lives. And the kids that are acting out the worst, very often in their way, that's their way of asking for us, begging us to pay attention to them and help them. And right book, right child, I believe we can get all the kids wanting to read and enjoying what they're reading.
Awesome. This is really amazing, Rita. Yes.
Okay.
Nowadays, parents are struggling in making their children read a book, because reading is really a tough battle for the children, for the parents. So here is a lovely chance for all the people, for all the parents who are finding a little bit challenge in making their word reading, increasing their capability of reading or writing. So you can contact Rita over here. She's in LinkedIn, and you can make your children read, write, and be a better version of their childhood, because that's very, very important. How you create interest in someone's reading passage, how you make one reading so much special that a person himself should read. And that's the magic we can see in Rita's, protocol she's having in her training, in her coaching. So kindly contact Rita, and she is going to make everyone's reading in a fraction of a second. Awesome
I
one, Rita.
believe that. Teaching reading made easy. I think we're making everything way too hard. And after the child has just dissected, so to speak, the reading, they get to the point, well, when can I read the book now? So there's a challenge for us in that while we need to teach skills, I'm all about skills because reading programs come and go. Skills remain the same. Phonics, the sounds, phonemic awareness, phonics, vocabulary, spelling, comprehension.
Wow.
There's so many things that we can do, whether we're doing cross content reading with the upper grades or we're teaching the brand new reader. We know what to do, but we have to remember interest and self-selection, that children will perform better and enjoy reading more when they're reading things that they're interested in. If they're not interested, then we've got to turn off right away. Now, I don't care whether kids listen to audiobooks or whether they're reading a book or reading off a Kindle. The main thing is to be reading. And the more reading that goes on at home, for sure, will help students be motivated to learn more and to enjoy more.
Exactly. And here you can say, for all the solutions, there is only one key, and she is Rita Wirtz. She can solve all your problems, all your children's problem, and she can make that reading into such a wonderful way to make your children love the reading. So that is a great golden opportunity. And no parent should miss this opportunity in contacting Rita and take the advantage of their children's bright future, because after all, children are the future of any nation, right, Rita? Yeah.
Literacy in the world.
Exactly.
It's not just the United States, it's everywhere. And it's interesting because when I meet with teachers that might be, I've done a lot of work with Morocco with the Zisubai. So if you have kids in Morocco and Tunisia and France, Denmark, wherever, Europe, or wherever they are, it's the same, that all these children need access to print. So we want to make sure that they do know how to use the internet and they do have their digital skills, but we do not want to lose the beauty of print either. And if we continue on the path that we are, I'm really concerned about pulling it back. But right now we have a challenging time, but we also have an extraordinary opportunity, because we have a chance right now in this defining moment to make literacy one of the biggest causes out there, and to all come together as a collective one in this and work with literacy as a top priority. If not now, when?
Exactly.
Now.
Exactly. What is now? Right.
Right.
So, yeah, you are no doubt in this that you are doing a fabulous job. And if I say the word fabulous job, then Rita, I would love to ask you, what are your plans for your future? Beautiful future. You can say the mission and vision. Yes. So kindly enlighten that to you.
Vision at an organizational level really needs to be the process of visioneering. With visioneering, everybody has a stake in it. And that means we all have a seat at the proverbial table. So while I'm looking at the fact that we're all getting together to figure out what we can do next to do this on a universal scale, worldwide scale, we want to remember that what my vision is to make sure every child everywhere can read. And my mission is how I'm going to make that happen, and what I've been doing with webinars and writing. I do have 3 books camping out on Amazon. 2 are on the teaching of reading, and they're ready to go, mini lessons. My other book is my memoir that I wrote in 21. So the stuff is there. The books are there. The research is there. The literature is there. It's a question of sifting and sorting. And again, it's not about my vision and mission they're big, they're on a universal scale, but ideally at the organizational level, that culture should be a more horizontal shared leadership where everybody has a say in what the vision should be and the mission. The reason I say this is 2 things. Number 1, I'm tired of hearing about learning loss, about struggling readers, and about failure, that we need to teach children how to fail better, to fail forward. I don't believe in the concept of failure. I believe there's no failure, there's only feedback. If this doesn't work, then I'll do this. If that doesn't work, I'll do this. Okay, so no failure. Let's take that out of our vocabulary. The next thing is on buy-in. I have an issue with the words buy-in. I don't feel, after being a principal and all the other responsibilities they had at university level, teaching college courses, I've never believed in buy-in, because I think that that's a weak way of people just saying they bought in or they've capitulated. And you could see changed behaviors. But ideally, instead of that notion of buy-in, we would change it to what can we do together, and what's in it for me, and how can I get that information. If we continue to do L&D, or training and development, the way we've been, where somebody comes in, they get a little of this, they go in their classroom, and they may or may not do it unless they've got a coach to help them. So I want to make it clear that what's happening with vision and mission really needs to be at the local level, at the school or the organizational site. And we need to get off of the idea that I'm going to give them my vision, my mission, and then I'm just going to make sure they buy in. I just don't see that happening, having been in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of classrooms teaching with teachers all over. I don't see it. I see they give lip service, but then they close the door. It doesn't necessarily happen unless we get people teaming and co-teaching, and we have some coaching coming in, and we make it safe to take those risks. If we don't take those giant Indiana Jones leaps of faith, then we stay where we are. And if we stay where we are because we're afraid to do something new, then how can we expect our children or the teachers that are around us to do it? So it reminds me that Warren Buffett said recently, and I've heard it before, where he said, always have good people around you. So as a leader, by having the people around me that I trust and I know will be helpful, then that mission and the bigger overriding vision belongs to all of us. And then we make sure it happens.
Wow.
I don't want to make it sound so simple, but it is. We make everything so hard. We're loading teachers' plates. We need to unload those plates and give them the supports that they need to be successful with all the children. And we need to make sure that we get to a point where we can stop room clears and expelling kids and suspending kids because of their behavior. This is not working.
Exactly.
It is a pipeline to prisons if we don't catch those kids now. Having worked with correctional ed for so many years in the education program, I actually wrote my master's thesis on the link between juvenile delinquency and lack of reading skills. So we don't want that to happen. We've got to grab the kids right now, and I call it the kid at the back. And so what I always say is the kid at the back, the one that's hiding out, or the one that the teacher just can't handle it because they're so disruptive. And I'm not saying that that's okay either. Banging on walls and falling out of chairs and doing the things they do is really about self-regulation. So we need to give them other opportunities to get their angst out. And I don't care whether it's your program of restorative justice or what you do, as long as we're not just suspending kids. So what we're looking at as a group is that by doing even one at a time, each one, teach one, each one, reach one, we can recall that we have been said by, it was said by Mother Teresa, that don't worry about getting everybody to start. Get the person closest to you that you can help. And so we start somewhere. And Jane Goodall recently in her book of Hope went further and said, we can all make a difference, but we have to decide what kind of a difference we want to make. So I will share this one story of my many stories of miraculous things that have happened to me that I never expected to happen, with parents sitting outside waiting hours to meet with me after a seminar, etc. But this is the story that I would prefer to share before we close. There was a student that I happened to meet via another student. So let's go back. in all the college courses I taught, and that was leadership in the bilingual cohort at Sac State. And then I taught all the reading credential courses and then moved to student teaching with the students. And this was at National University in Sac State. So in every course that I taught, I had as part of the assignment, it was added on, but they all had to tutor somebody. So they had a one-on-one experience. So there was a little guy that had a lot of challenges, and my student came to me and said, Rita, I don't know what to do. Can you meet this little guy and his mom and see what could you do? I don't know what to do. He'd already been retained. He'd been put in a class for non-English speakers, and he clearly spoke English. Excuse me, a little water. I'm thirsty this morning. In any event, I started to work with him, as did my husband, who adored the little guy. So we took him on field trips and we wrote about it, and we practiced our reading. And I worked with him after school and on the weekends for 2 years, and then bits and pieces after. By the time he hit high school, he was not only totally out of Title I and special ed and all the other labels they had given to him, he was excelling. He went on to go to UC school, and he graduated with honors. And they sent me the invitation. Unfortunately, I wasn't in a position to travel to go, but I got all the pictures, and they contacted me and called me and da-da-da-da. That little guy that was flunked, that they said was a failure, that they couldn't do anything with, the kid running away from school, the child became a rocket scientist for SpaceX. I actually wrote a book about Stefan because it wasn't that big a deal when you sit down with these kids and figure out what they love to do. And then we find out what skills they don't know, and we just keep scaffolding and building. These children are generally very gifted. So if they're gifted and they're being missed, and instead they're getting in trouble because they're bored with what they're doing, they're not engaging, we need to rethink what we're doing. But the kid at the back is always the one that gets to me, because there's always at least one. And if the teacher has a bunch of them, that's okay. If there's a bunch of kids that need extra help, those are the children we're going to get. We won't leave out everybody else, but those children need something different. If what's been done isn't working, we have to stop doing the insanity. We have to do things differently. So my message is that there's a little one, whether it's in your home or in your classroom or in your organization, there's always one in particular. And how I equate this is I started taking tango lessons, no kidding, on Sunday afternoon. And I'm terrible. And I'm so bad at it that our teacher gives me extra time. And she said to the class last Sunday, well, we all have to help Rita. And, you know, I wasn't embarrassed. I wasn't ashamed. I wasn't humiliated. I just dug in that I'm going to master this precise dance. And that's the way I proceed with everything. Right now, I'm working on my tech.
Wow.
So all of us need to take risks and just be a badass out there. We have to stand out from the crowd, because we have children that we're missing, that we're losing. And old children deserve our respect, that we can help them become capable, confident readers who love to read.
Awesome, Rita. What shall I say? I'm so mesmerized. Yes, I do believe that the word, when we say fail, is first attempt in learning. That's the real meaning of the word fail. And yes, right, the way you are teaching students and inspiring them to read, to write, and to learn in such a way that, you know, it's fun with learning techniques is really great. Awesome work which you're doing for the children. And I really wishing you a lot of success, a lot of love, a lot of happiness for your life, for your work, and a lot of laurels and accolades to you in your life. So thank you so much, Rita, for coming to our show, enlightening everybody's life, enlightening everybody's wisdom. And you have shared n number of wisdom, of nuggets of knowledge and love. So thank you so much once again.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm just deeply honored. You're
Thank
such a
you.
beautiful person and you're doing so much for so many. And that's how I feel about everybody that's listening or will see this later. We cannot give up. Let's just make
Exactly.
sure that we continue to make the difference that our children need and stay the course. Don't leave, stay with us, because there's
Exactly.
nothing better than teaching. When that light bulb goes on and you see the child all of a sudden reading and writing, ah, be still my heart. That's the beauty of being a teacher, is seeing all the good that we can do.
Exactly. So thank you so much once again, Rita. And thank you so much, my lovely global audience, for always loving us, inspiring us, cheering us. Keep doing that. Stay happy, Helenati. Bye-bye for now.
Have a wonderful day, everybody, and thank